The Bible is now a high-budget anime. Which scene do you look forward to the most and why? It's called VeggieTales, aka the best show ever created. The part where Lot's own daughters pull a Bill Cosby on him. When Noah-san gets everyone onto the giant Gundam to fight the flood kaiju sent from God. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Yeah man, let me see a dragon. Nothing can top the best anime adaptation of all time, The Prince of Egypt. The songs in that movie are so good. The Temptation of Christ would be pretty dope. The classic battle of the wits between good and evil, everyone loves that shit. Every character's backstory gets shown over the next 22 episodes. God sending a bear to kill 40 children. Because they made fun of Elijah's baldness. That's real disproportionate, Elisha, but close enough. Judges 3:16-23. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about 1.5 feet long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. But on reaching the stone images near Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon and said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." The king said to his attendants, "Leave us." And they all left. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, "I have a message from God for you." As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. Just imagine how badass that'd be. Edit, spelling. But you left out the great epilogue. Part of the reason Ehud got away was because the servants thought the king was easing nature, or shitting. They waited to check on him after an embarrassing long wait. Also, quick note, Ehud was most likely left-handed, so they never checked for a weapon on his right side. Hence he was able to smuggle in the blade. Yeah. The Bible specifically refers to Ehud as being lame in his left hand, since back in the day right-handed was the norm more so than an arbitrary thing people have. You would have seen less lefties since there were comparatively smaller social circles. The one where Jesus makes some demons go into a guy's pigs, then the demon pigs go drown themselves, running this guy's livelihood. Adam naming all the animals while trying not to get eaten by the dinosaurs. Adam wouldn't have had to worry about getting eaten by dinosaurs. Everything before the fall was good. There was no death. Well, it would depend. If Adam liked being eaten by a dinosaur, then he'd just be stuck there in that belly. I am so sorry. That one story where Dinah got raped and then her brothers got the entire town to get circumcised and then killed them. Jesus kicking the shit out of the money changers in the temple. This and showing a buff anime Jesus. I mean, he was a carpenter, or stonemason depending on how you interpret the translation, and strong enough to both flip those tables and whip the merchants out. Jesus was the first JoJo. I don't know. I didn't read the manga. Angelo. The Plagues of Egypt, especially seeing the dust turn into gnats. The Prince of Egypt would like to know your location. Love that movie. The time some king traded his daughter for a pile of foreskins. Nanny. It wasn't so much that it was a payment, it was more David having to show he was a legit badass. Moses gone part the sea with a fucking Beyblade, but that's already been adapted to anime. Anything from Song of Solomon, her breasts are like twin fawns of a gazelle. Seeing the angels appear. Their descriptions are so creepy. Eva has you covered. Assuming they get to take some creative license, the missing years of Jesus Christ. From 13 / to 30. Failing that, the entire Sodom and Gomorrah arc. All of it. Prophet Elisha and the she-bear. He gets mocked by 42 children for being bald, praise to God for retribution. He answers with a she-bear that mauls the 42 youths. That grizzly got a tactical nuke. Ezekiel 23:20, there she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys and whose emission was like that of horses. Fuck yeah, show me a BBC gangbang with gushing cream pies. Anime, not hentai, though both could be considered art. Anime can be hentai. Urosaki Doji is definitely both anime and hentai. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace because it would be lit. The End of Days, Book of Revelation of course. Then again, considering everyone and everything dies, Evangelion pretty much covers it already. They don't die. They just, turn into a really big puddle of tang, the splitting of the Red Sea by Moses. The scene from the Ten Commandments movie is phenomenal, though admittedly, it's a bit outdated by today's standards. The scene from Prince of Egypt is just absolutely glorious. A stupidly high-quality recreation of it, even if it's an anime, would be phenomenal. Yeah, I think that scene in Prince of Egypt took 2 years to make, and it shows. The story of Cain and Abel would be a top fucking tier anime if strung out into 20 or so episodes. Next time on Dragon Bible Z. The entire book of Revelation is going to be completely off the chain. It's gonna be that final season after the next season was delayed to allow the artists to get ahead. So, fans stuck to rereading the manga for clues about how the next season is gonna end. They've been teasing it for dozens of chapters now. Millennial Kingdom arc is just gonna be filler. Judges 15:15 finding a fresh jawbone of a donkey, he grabbed it and struck down 1,000 men. Samson was a fucking Bible badass. That would be a sick fight scene. Think the church scene in Kingsman. I don't think anyone has ever animated when the Hebrews killed a bunch of Canaanites after they got their foreskins chopped off so they could marry Hebrew women. The Bible described it as a clever ruse. Anything with the angels, angelic beings, provided they're illustrated as they're meant to be, you know, with a fuckton of heads and wings and oddly shaped and objectively horrifying. There is a reason why when an angel appears to someone, they say don't be afraid. Exactly, yes. David slaying Goliath. Shadow of the Colossus.